It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
Hey, Steph, how are you?
Good. Gary, how are you? Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday to you too. I've had a busy week. I went from Vegas. I went Vegas to Chicago in less than 48 hours.
That's insane.
But I felt the need to go to NAB, and but first let's talk about yesterday. I was in Chicago, and I was there for the E4, which is the Exertis Almo show, and it did the keynote. It had the largest audience. I have a selfie I took before I got up there to speak. We had the largest audience we've had at an E4 keynote in probably 10 years. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was probably 400 people in the keynote, and probably 600 people total, maybe 700 people, somewhere in that range total. So that was really impressive. I was, regional shows are going to be big, as we've talked about before. And since the pandemic, they've only been bigger than they were before the pandemic. Right. So I think that's going to be a trend. But NAB was really impressive, Steph. I've got some shots I took at NAB here I'm going to put up. But the thing that was interesting about it was that the show was actually really busy, which is going to show really well for Infocom, which is also in Vegas. I'll give you a disclaimer about that in just a second. But anyway, I took some pictures. There's that's as you can see, that's a Microsoft Teams demo, which was at NAB, which I thought was kind of interesting because NAB is a broadcast show, but they were showing, in the case of Absent, they were showing LEDs in that application as well. Here they're doing, they're showing an XR set, and I was showing you how they're doing it, right? I'm showing you the kind of the behind the scenes and the result in the bottom right-hand corner there, and how simple it is using this technology to kind of transport you anywhere in the world, which is what they're doing in production nowadays.
Yeah, here we go. Now I see the behind the scenes. Nice.
It's pretty amazing how simple that is. But one thing that was really cool is, and there you go. There's another behind the scenes shot. That was a big LED. It's a lot bigger.
That is really big LED.
Yeah, and one thing I got to see is the brand new Kayye from Panasonic, which is their Esports switcher production system, right? Of course, it's for live production as well, but that new Kayye has SDI output in addition to AV over IP. So obviously, a lot of people are going to use that in live events as well. So yeah, it was a good show.
That's a good show.
Goes well. Now, we'll say my little disclaimer.
Okay. For
those of you going to Infocom, it is going to be difficult to move between halls.
Oh, wait, where was NAB again? Was NAB?
In Vegas.
It was at the same convention center?
Same convention center. So NAB was in the South Hall, Central Hall, and West Hall. Infocom's only going to be in the West Hall and the Central Hall. I don't think they're using the South Hall, if I remember correctly. So there's no easy way to get from the West Hall to the Central Hall. Now, there's a walkway-ish kind of thing, but it's outside, and in June outside is hotter than in April outside. So I imagine. So what I was going to say is, and we'll talk more about this. And I think, Steph, we need to write an article about this.
Okay.
You need to plan your day. What you need to do is plan like Wednesday in one hall, Thursday in the other hall, right? And then Friday be the one that you use to catch up in both. It is possible to get, like, for example, they have direct access to the Teslas, right? You can go right outside of the Central Hall, go right into this makeshift tunnel that they made, so you can ride between the buildings and the Teslas, and they have hundreds of those going back and forth. But still, you got to go into this little cave thing and then do it. And there was a long line when
Can I just say something controversial yet so brave? Why didn't they just get a little tram, like a little public transportation, like something they got at the airport?
I talked to them. I talked to them at the show, actually. The construction is a moving project. It's not one static project.
Right.
And it's like a quarter of a mile. So there was no easy way for them to build something and then move it and then reconstruct it. So, and most shows are only using one hall, right? They don't usually
Right.
have shows that are that big. Most of the shows are like, there's a show in the West Hall and there's a show in the Central Hall, and then there's a separate show in the South Hall. But Infocom's big, right? NAB's big. So those shows are going to take a larger footprint. So NAB will end up having, NAB's bigger than Infocom. It'll end up having probably 65 to 70,000 people. And Infocom could be that big, but I don't know if it'll be quite that big this year. It's going to be a big year for them, but you know, NAB is like the size of ISE.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, yeah.
But like, okay, yes, they're not done with the construction, but then they were like, let us just make a Tesla tunnel.
Well, the Tesla tunnel was already there. Like they already built a Tesla tunnel. It was there last time we were there at Infocom, but they just made it easier to access during all this construction. I think is probably the best way to say it.
I just think it's impractical, but I guess that's why I didn't make a convention center. So
yeah. So anyway, we'll go over it before Infocom, but it's going to be a big year for Infocom. Vegas has gotten a lot easier to get around, right? They've Uber access is a lot easier. They've blocked off all the roadways so that you can't walk across the street anywhere. So that means you don't have people like all over the place. I think that was all due to the F1 race, probably. They're kind of re-engineering the way that you move around Vegas. But hey, while I was in NAB, literally while I was there, big news came out, right?
It did. We were like texting about it. We were like, oh my gosh, we have to post this.
Yeah, we were one of the first companies to break this news. Resideo purchased Snap One in about a $1.4 billion deal, something like that.
Yep. It was like
it ends up being
$10.75 per share, I want to say. Yeah.
So so now what's interesting about this to me is so Resideo is a division of ADI. Okay, ADI is a big distributor, right? Resideo is primarily in the residential space.
Yes.
And the fact that this isn't ADI buying Snap One, but Resideo, a division of ADI buying Snap One, means that they're buying it primarily for the residential. But Snap One is in the commercial space too. So Snap One was, and Snap One had plans to move into commercial. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens with all of that, right? Because I know the commercial team at Snap One, they're great people. And what's also interesting at Snap One, I think a lot of people think of Snap One as a distributor stuff. Snap One is more of a manufacturer than a distributor. Honestly, they don't distribute that much. They make speakers, they make security cameras, they make a control system that you remember they own Control 4, right? They are a big manufacturer. So Resideo just bought a big residential manufacturer. Now Control 4 could easily be in the commercial space, but it so far has chosen not to be for whatever reason in the commercial space. It is a great control system in the residential space, and it could easily be brought over to the commercial space, but it's not there yet.
Because didn't ADI also buy Herman?
Yes, and then they just a couple like a week ago, I saw that posted on LinkedIn that they had spun them back off separately.
That Herman is going back private.
Correct.
Yes.
And the founders of Herman bought it back or something. So
yes, I'm actually working on a story about that. They are still, they told me they were getting everything together for me and that they would call me back, but I am working on a story. Okay, good. So that, so Herman is a commercial is commercially focused, right? Yes. Services company to help integrators. So they got rid of the commercial division at ADI Resideo. And then they bought Snap One, which is mostly residential. So I don't know. Maybe they're going to stay mostly in the residential space. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I don't have any insight there. Nobody is saying anything specifically. Yeah. And I think Snap One, don't forget, it's a public company. So some of that data is going to be made available to us, but not all of it has to be. So but this is a big deal. It is a big deal.
I think we'll know if Snap One keeps their booth at Infocom, that'll be a big statement, right? Because, and I hope they do. I hope they stay in the commercial because Control 4 could easily be a commercial control system, and probably a lot of people wondering why it's not. And then they also, like I said, they also have a bunch of other stuff, right? I mean, they have this management platform called Oversee that's really good. Like, it's one of the best kept secrets in the industry. You know, it's a on-prem or cloud-based management system, which allows you to manage all your equipment, and it is compatible with third-party equipment if you have an API. So there's a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what happens.
Yeah, so me too. So hey, by the way, I saw the team from Legrand while I was at the E4 show. They were showing, you know what the big thing was at the E4 show for them?
What?
The new Vadio bar. Is it Venture? The new Vadio video bar product. I think it's Venture, if I remember correctly. But that product was very popular at the show.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, and they're a sponsor. What's their message to us today?
So basically, deciding what camera fits your conferencing needs is very vital, obviously, to creating transformative workplace experiences that cultivate a sense of belonging for all members of the distributed team. Legrand actually has a comparison chart for that, and we have a little video to show you guys.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, unclear.
That was a quiet video.
Yeah, unclear what happened there with that audio. But anyway, we also have a link. So if you want to scan the QR code in the bottom left of the screen, you can check out the comparison chart for what camera Legrand recommends for what space. But yeah, so we also wanted to remind you guys to register for Infocom using the code rAVe. We've been talking about it. Infocom is June 12th through 14th in the beautiful and hot Las Vegas. And yeah, if you use our code, then you get a free pass onto the exhibit hall floor, and that works in both halls. So yeah, go ahead and register, get ready, go ahead and book your flight. If you're going to Vegas like we are from the East Coast, they're only going to get more expensive. So go ahead and get your plans in place.
And let's mention a couple of things about Infocom. First off, I am teaching a class called The Future of Workspace is All About Experiences. This is a very popular class. It sold out last year. I've updated it for 2024. It will definitely sell out. If you're interested in attending that, scan that QR code or go to our website. There's a link directly to it, or just go to infocomshow.org, click on the classes, search by my name, and you'll find that class. It is 1 p.m. on Tuesday, June 11th, which is the day before the show opens. So it's a great day to do a whole bunch of education. You should definitely not go to Infocom and just do the exhibits. You should do the education. But speaking of the exhibits, we're going to have Esports Live 2.0. So the second version of the Esports Pavilion at Infocom.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
Will debut, and that's going to be big. They're going to do lots of great things. The team over at Avixa and AVI Systems do a phenomenal job with that. This will be, Brad Sousa, who, as you know, remember, Steph passed away. This was his brainchild with Avixa. And, it's going to be sad, but also exciting because he conceptualized this whole thing. So it's sad that he's not there to see the next version, but it's exciting because it came from his vision. And I know it's going to be a great event. This year, there's going to be more teams actually playing. There's going to be lots of stuff going on. We'll be part of it as well. So we'll give you more details as we get closer to the show. Yeah,
it's going to be like a lot of live matches and stuff. Is that what they call them? Matches?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Great. It's going to be a lot of live matches and competitions, right? Like we get to watch people. I like to watch people while they play.
Yep. And also so much technology from our market, like even the point of view cameras that you see the players, so you can see what the players are doing.
Yeah.
All the professional cameras that are shooting the set, the streaming, the different levels of streaming, all of it is all about AV. And while at NAB, speaking of AV, Panasonic had this big press conference about all that they are doing for the Paris Olympics.
That's so cool.
They're going to bring all that technology to Infocom while we're there at the show in Vegas. And this will be at 8K Olympics. So they're going to broadcast in 8K.
Oh, cool.
Now, of course, most people aren't going to be able to pick it up in 8K because they don't have a Samsung TV that does 8K, which is pretty much the only one that right now is shipping. But ultimately, you know, it's going to be the footage coming from that's going to be incredible. Panasonic's a big sponsor. You know, they spend whatever it is now. I mean, it used to be $40 million to be a presenting sponsor. I don't know what it is now, but it's a lot. And you know, their technology is going to be all over the place. They detailed exactly what's actually going to be there. And we have that on our website. And it's interesting to read because there's going to be 130 projectors that are large venue projectors. There's another 500 plus flat panel displays, 150 large format system cameras, 30 plus production switchers, mostly of the Kayye switchers, you know, a professional audio system. Here's a little video we're playing.
Oh yeah, I pulled video from Panasonic participating in London in 2012. So I thought it was funny to see like how Panasonic has played a big part in multiple versions of the Olympics, but also like how much the technology has like changed clearly since then. But it'll be cool.
Yeah,
like they had a lot of great, really cool projection stuff in 2012 too. So I mean, this year's going to be great.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's only two companies, Sony and Panasonic, that have everything you need for a production like this. And Panasonic's had the partnership with the IOC for many years. So they've continued it. And if, you know, as long as they keep paying, they get it, right? I mean, it's expensive to do. It's a big undertaking for sure.
Exactly. Well, speaking of for sure, our second sponsor of the day. Our second sponsor of the day is Shure. They have been with us since the very beginning. And their video today that we are going to play for you talks about how meeting equity is audio equity. Audio equity is meeting equity. So check this out. Okay, back to the news. We got some from Extron. So they are now shipping a dedicated touch panel controller for UCC, scheduling, and meeting control. This is like different. It's like the interface looks a little bit different than a lot of what I have seen, like touch panel wise, shipping from Extron, and it looks really nice.
It's small. It's really, really small. It's an individual controller. You can put it in a huddle space or a meeting room. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, you can check that out. It's on our website at rAVe Pubs, or you can scan that QR code. Also, rAVe Audio and Lao are working together. They're rAVe is one of those companies that has all these plugins and opportunities for you to amp up audio in live events and in production. And we are constantly writing stories about those. And so you can see all that. And you can just go to our website and go rAVe's Audio, just do a search on rAVe's Audio. You'll find a ton of information about all that they do. And
we got a second story from them today too.
Oh, 3. Okay, there you go. What are the other ones? What were the other ones?
Well, a second one at least. Yeah. So this one is about rAVe's Audio and Sony, because its Cloud MX now connects with Sony's M2L X. It's like the live production switcher, which is nice because rAVe's is always trying to, I think, like work with other industry, like other company stuff. So now that it works with Sony, I think that's kind of a big deal too.
Yeah. So in other news, rAVe, who happens to be one of our sponsors, announced a new voice tracking partner, Bamp. And of course, Bamp is one of those companies everyone's using to bridge the gap for conversation tracking, when somebody's talking, using that audio to track the camera. So their audio system can track PTZ, the PTZ cameras from rAVe, and using the typical beamform microphones that a lot of the audio companies have. And you can learn more about that on our website. We have a link there as well in our in a QR code, in our QR code. And rAVe's done a lot of partnerships like this in the last couple of months. rAVe's becoming, I would say that rAVe's one of the top PTZ companies. Speaking of which, when do we announce the Reader's Choice Awards? Because I know they got nominated in a couple of categories.
Yes, I am still going through those, and then I have to. So like tomorrow probably.
Okay, yeah. So because rAVe's in there, a couple of different categories. I noticed, if you go back and look at like votes from a few years ago to now, they're playing a bigger role. Now, what's interesting is the way we do our Reader's Choice Awards, we get nominations, and then we take the nominations and we publish the ones that we think are the best, in that particular category.
And like, I have to go in and double check that like the products that people have submitted actually came out in the past year. So I'm like,
for the ones that say new. Yeah. The category new.
For the ones that say new. Yes. So I'm like doing all the fact checking, and
also a lot of companies, not to mention any names, maybe I shouldn't say the name.
No, don't say the name.
They like tell their people, go in there and do this. And it's so freaking obvious when you do that. So we throw all those out. So therefore you won't find your product in there when you do that. You're better off promoting it to the industry and telling the industry to vote instead of having all your own people go in there and do the nominations, because we can see through that.
We literally see who did it. So but most people did not do that. Most people like nominated for the ones that like they made sense for. And I even had some people like email me and be like, hey, we would like to be nominated for this. Like, we put in our nomination. Here's the product. Like, can you like tell us if we qualify? Like, a few people asked me, which I thought was nice. So
yeah, I mean, because sometimes the categories aren't totally clear, and sometimes we're not sure what you're going to get in those categories. Like in the UCC category, we have a plethora of products in there. So what we've done is breaking out UC products into separate categories, but also still had the general catch-all UC category. Whereas when we first had UC, it was only one category. So now there's more versions of that category.
Right.
So it's an evolving process, but so we'll get to that. You can watch, you look for your email, watch for our newsletters. It'll be published soon.
Exactly.
And while at NAB, Sony also published details on how to remotely control all of their cameras that are used for production, even the Alpha series cameras remotely. A lot of the Alphas are being used in television production now, Steph. I use an Alpha here to do my broadcast from here. So this is what I'm using. Yeah, so they have basically APIs. They have remote control functionality that can be accessed, depending on which camera it is, can be accessed hardwired or wireless. And all that detail was published during NAB because, a lot of production companies are at NAB and they wanted to know how to do it.
How to control them from, far away. And also this set of commands also removes restrictions to third-party software development.
Oh, so, that's another thing. That's a big deal because Sony had this closed ecosystem, Apple-like ecosystem, and they've opened it up and said, okay,
all right, you can use your little third-party things now if you guys really want to. Well, so I think
it's interesting because Sony was being aggressive there because their competition was pretty cutthroat with Canon and Nikon, but now Sony's taken a leadership role in that segment of the market. So I think they're like, let's just open it up for anybody.
Yeah, which is nice. So I think that's about all the news that came out this week. A lot of it.
By the way, this is not a this we don't have a story on this, but one thing I saw at NAB that was kind of cool. This company called Atomos, which we did a story on. So if you go to our website, ATOMOS.
Yes.
If you go search for it, they actually have this hard drive, external hard drive for an iPhone. So you put an iPhone into a rig, and then you connect a hard drive to it. You can use that. The hard drive has a screen, like a 7-inch screen on it. So you can record from an iPhone in RAW format. Full on RAW format straight into this hard drive and use that as the screen.
Oh, wow.
The resolution of the video come from that. I didn't realize that, and that only works with the 15 Pro and the 15 Pro Max. Those two cameras for Apple record in RAW format.
Okay.
That's it. So they're, outside of that, you got to use a high-end production camera. So that, I thought that was kind of cool. And they showed me how that actually works. So,
nice.
But anyway, it's totally outside the realm. But I know today you have Replay ISE. Is that today? Replay ISE? No. When is that?
That not putting the date on it.
April 23rd.
April 23rd.
That's okay. A week
from time and not the day.
Okay, there you go. April, 1 p.m. Yeah.
I'm doing awesome, you guys.
ISC
really awesome.
West. We started a security newsletter last November. So ravepubs.com. Click on the subscribe link. If you're in the security business, whether it be cybersecurity or you want to get into security, physical security as well, you can subscribe to that newsletter. We actually went and covered that show. Steph went and covered that show, and she's going to do a replay of that show on the 23rd at 1 p.m. I'm looking forward to that.
Yep. And we have a little video to show you. So if you watch this and really
my name's David Antar with IP Video Corporation, now a Motorola company. And we're pretty excited to showcase some of our newest technology, which is Halo Amplify. It's a series of sensors that connect directly to Halo. The different sensors that we have over here is a water leak sensor that connects over Bluetooth to Halo. We have a door open or window open or a drawer sensor. We also have an external temperature and humidity sensor. And the real exciting one is our people counting sensor, which attaches over Bluetooth back to our Halo sensor. This is our Halo. We actually just won the SIA award yesterday for these products, and we're really excited about them. I'll give you a quick example if you want to follow me in here of how this works. So right here, you can see that it only shows maximum occupants of 1. Now, as we have 2 people in here, just turned red, showing that we have multiple people. It also shows I've been in here for 10 seconds, so I'm doing dwell time as well as the number of people that are in the area. And so far, we've had 798 visitors into this space over here demonstrating Halo Amplify. For more information on our technology, please go visit us at halodetect.com.
So we have plenty more videos like that we are excited to show you on replay. It's going to be me and Megan Dutta who are hosting that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be 30 minutes. So it won't take too much time out of your day, but it will be a fun, general roundup of everything seen at ISC West. And so, you can always also go to our website and look at all the ISC West content. We have all of the videos up and everything. And make sure you go to ravepubs.com. We got lots of stuff for you to look at. Okay, bye.
Bye.
It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.